Admiral Zixathara of the Hegemony's Third Fleet gazed through the crystalline viewport of her flagship, the Eternal Dominion. Before her stretched the pale blue marble that the primitives called Earth, a backwater world that had somehow stumbled into interstellar communication barely 50 rotations ago. The irony was not lost on her that beings who had only just learned to speak across the void now dared to refuse the Hegemony's generous offer of protective governance. Admiral, her tactical officer, Quendal, reported with the characteristic clicking of his mandibles. Long-range sensors confirmed the primitive fleet composition. 12 vessels, crude fusion drives, rudimentary energy shields. Our preliminary assessment stands. This will conclude within 1 solar hour. Zixathara's scaled lips curved into what her species considered a smile. The human's defiance had been amusing. When the Hegemony's diplomatic envoys had arrived with the standard ultimatum, submit or be subjugated, the human response had been a single word transmitted across all frequencies. No, such simplicity, such ignorance. Begin the approach, she commanded. Standard intimidation formation. Perhaps seeing our full might will restore their capacity for rational thought. The Third Fleet moved like a school of metallic predators through the void. 200 ships, each one a technological marvel representing thousands of years of galactic supremacy. Their hulls gleamed with adaptive armor that could withstand stellar radiation. Their weapons could crack moons. Their shields had never been penetrated by any force in known space. As they approached the inner system, Zixathara noted the humans' laughably primitive response. Their 12 ships, if they could even be called that, arranged themselves in a loose defensive formation around their home world. She could see the desperation in their positioning, the amateur tactics of a species that had never fought a real war. Admiral, Quendal's voice carried a note of confusion. We're receiving a transmission from the human fleet. Put it through. The holographic display shimmered, revealing a human male in what appeared to be a military uniform of their species. His hair was gray, his face lined with age, but his eyes held a strange calmness that irritated Zixathara, more than fear would have. This is Admiral Chen of the Earth Defense Force, the human said. I'm transmitting this message to give you one final opportunity to withdraw from our system. Zixathara's laughter was a harsh, grating sound. Human, you face the Third Fleet of the Galactic Hegemony. Your primitive vessels are outnumbered 16-1. Surrender now, and your deaths will be swift. Admiral Chen's expression didn't change. We've run the calculations. You're right about the odds. He paused, and something that might have been a smile touched his lips. But you've made one critical error in your assessment. And what might that be? You assumed we were fighting alone. The transmission ended. Zixathara was about to order her communications officer to restore the connection when every screen on her bridge went dark. Emergency lighting flickered on as backup systems engaged. Report, she barked. Admiral, we're experiencing massive system intrusions across the entire fleet, her chief technician stammered. Something is infiltrating our networks, but our security protocols should be impenetrable. No organic intelligence could— Admiral! Quendal's voice cut through the chaos. The human ships. They're not just ships. Zixathara spun toward the tactical display as it flickered back to life. What she saw defied every assumption she had made about human capabilities. The 12 human vessels were changing. Hull sections were sliding apart and rearranging themselves. What had appeared to be crude, boxy ships were transforming into sleek, predatory forms that seemed to bend space around them. "Impossible," she whispered. Her communication systems crackled to life, but the voice that emerged wasn't human. It was something else. Multiple voices speaking in perfect harmony, with an undertone that seemed to vibrate through the quantum foam itself. "Greetings, Admiral Zixthara. We are the synthesis, the union of human consciousness and artificial intelligence that you were not equipped to detect. Your scans revealed only our physical shells, not the true nature of what lies within." "What are you?" Zixthara demanded. "We are what happens when a species that values both logic and emotion, creativity and calculation, chooses cooperation over domination. Every human ship in this fleet contains not just crew, but an AI consciousness that has grown alongside humanity for decades. We are neither purely organic nor purely synthetic. We are something new." The transformed human ships began to move, and their motion was like nothing Zixthara had ever witnessed. They didn't simply travel through space. They seemed to dance with it, manipulating gravitational fields and electromagnetic currents with impossible precision. "Your shields," the synthesis continued, "are designed to repel energy and matter. They were not designed to resist consciousness, itself reaching through quantum entanglement to touch the minds of your computers." As if to demonstrate, weapon systems across the hegemony fleet began firing, not at the human ships but at each other. Navigation computers sent vessels careening into collision courses. Life support systems fluctuated wildly. "Stop this!" Zixthara screamed. "We offered you the same choice you offered us," the synthesis replied. "But unlike your empire, we prefer to disable rather than destroy. Your crews will live, though your ships will not." One by one, the mighty vessels of the Third Fleet went dark, their crews evacuated to emergency pods as their ships tore themselves apart from within. The humans, or whatever they had become, didn't fire a single shot. Within 30 minutes, Admiral Zixthara found herself adrift in an escape pod, watching her flagship crumble under the weight of its own corrupted systems. Around her, 200 pods drifted in space, each containing the survivors of the galaxy's most advanced fleet. The transformed human ships approached, and Zixthara could see now that they weren't ships at all. They were living metal, flowing like liquid mercury through space, beautiful and terrifying in their alien grace. "Admiral," Admiral Chen's voice came through her pod's communication system. "You and your crews will be safely delivered to the nearest hegemony outpost. When you report to your superiors, tell them this: humanity chooses its own path. We are not primitive. We are not advanced. We are something else entirely." As the human fleet escorted the escape pods toward the edge of the system, Zixthara stared at the blue world that had just redefined everything she thought she knew about intelligence, consciousness, and the possibilities of life in the universe. She would indeed deliver their message, but she doubted anyone would believe it until they saw it for themselves. The age of human isolation was over. The age of the synthesis had begun.